Ojeda, Jericó Montillo, José Luis León, Beatriz Afil,
Rosario Soto,
Josep Montes,
Joseph
Ángel
Montes,
Corao,
Ángel Corao,
Aldo Divari,
Aldo Divari,
Ana Alejandrina Reyes,
Ana Alejandrina
Julio Manuel
Reyes,
Parada,
Julio Manuel
Mauri
Prada,
Abraham Márquez,
Mauri
Fabiola
Abraham Márquez, Fabiola
Newton
Velázquez,
Rauseo,
Newton
Margarita
Rauseo,
Padrón,
Margarita Padrón,
Natalia Rondón,
Natalia
Perla
Rondón,
García,
Perla García,
Humberto Matos, Zacarías
Humberto
García,
Matos, Zacarías
Iradece
García,
Guías y Rubén
Irabese
Hernández
Guías, and Rubén Hernández
por este extraordinario trabajo
for this extraordinary work,
difícil y complejo.
so difficult and complex.
Mi saludo
Greetings to the Vice President of Communication and Culture, poet Alfred Nazaret Ñañez, known as Freddy Ñañez, to writer and dancer of Venezuelan music Ernesto Villegas.
El hombre le pone, porque hace un año no sabía bailar.
He knows because a year ago he didn't know how to dance, and a year after is a renowned dancer. That's an achievement of the great mission, Viva Venezuela, my beloved homeland.
Un saludo a mi esposa.
Greetings to my wife, the First Lady, 2025-2031, Celia Flores. Governors, partners, authorities, vice ministers, I want to greet in a very special way the promoters of the great mission Viva Venezuela, Mi Patria Querida, Noel Márquez, Francisco Pacheco, Ignacio Barreto, Lisbeth Villar, Aracelis García,
Javier Marín, Amaranta Pérez,
Ana Cecilia Arroyo, among others here present. I would say with Luis Alberto Crespo, this poet of great consciousness of our country, applause for him. Luis Alberto Crespo, the man that always ignited the light in times of darkness. You called this country the country of cultural diversity, of deep culture, this beautiful Venezuela that we are. You called it the absent country. Here is the absent country of yesterday and present country of today and forever. This is the country beyond. Some minutes ago, we were today the Day of the National Artist. And Ernesto was saying that he didn't know why it's the Day of the National Artist, but it is, in fact, the Day of the National Artist, and we celebrate it. Today, we were saying goodbye to an artist of poetry, of sensitivity, and the love for the homeland, Isaías Rodriguez. Today, we said goodbye to him on behalf of millions of men and women who love this country. Honor and glory to Isaías Rodriguez forever.
Isaías Rodríguez, honor y
Isaías
gloria.
Rodriguez,
No
honor
es
and
tiempo de
glory.
recular.
It is not
Es
time
tiempo
to
de
hesitate.
avanzar.
It is time to move forward.
Déjenme decirles algo.
Let me say you something.
El viernes pasado, hoy es lunes, ¿verdad?
Last Friday, today is Monday, isn't it?
Apenas el viernes pasado
Last Friday,
vivimos un momento histórico.
we were living a historical
Un día
moment.
lleno de sol, de brillo, de
A day
bendiciones.
full of sun, bright,
Porque el
and
viernes pasado,
blessings.
apenas el viernes
Because
pasado,
barely last Friday,
me juramenté
I
en nombre
was
de todos,
sworn
nos
in
juramentamos
on behalf of
desde el corazón,
everybody from
desde la verdad,
our heart, from the
desde el
truth,
compromiso.
from commitment.
Y estaba pensando cuando estaba entregando
And
los
I
premios,
was thinking when I was
que
handling the awards,
cosas de la vida, ¿verdad?
things of life,
Veía siempre de manera creyente, misteriosa.
that you would say in a mysterious
Causalidades
way.
o casualidades. No creo que haya sido casual.
Coincidence. I don't think that it was a
Para el
coincidence
periodo
that my
presidencial
first
2025,
government act for the
2031
presidential
es
term
con la cultura nacional.
2025-2031
Es
is
con este
involving
poderoso movimiento
national
cultural.
culture and
Es
this
el primer acto
powerful
de gobierno,
cultural
Ernesto.
movement. It's the first act of the government.
Y eso marca todo.
And that
Porque que pega
marks
adelante,
everything.
pega varias veces, pues.
Because if you hit
Ah,
before, you hit
¿Qué dice Raúl
twice.
Casal? ¿Está de acuerdo? ¿Lo dice en guaraní o lo dice en español?
Are you in
En español.
agreement?
Así que
So
es auspicioso. Porque la cultura lo es todo.
it's vital because culture
Es la
is
expresión de lo que
everything. It's
somos,
the expression
seres
of what we
humanos,
are, human
En
beings,
primer lugar.
in the first place.
Es la expresión de lo que somos, seres
It's the
sociales.
expression of what we are, social
Y es la
beings,
expresión de lo que
and the
somos,
expression of what we
seres
are,
individuales, creativos,
individual,
sensibles.
creative being, sensitive
Todas las
beings.
sociedades, desde
All
el
of the
esclavismo, el
societies,
feudalismo y
from
el
slavery,
capitalismo en sus distintas
feudalism,
fases,
and capitalism in its
todas las sociedades
different phases,
han
all
generado
societies have
la
generated
cultura de los poderosos, de los ricos,
the
de los
culture
reyes.
of the powerful
de las
people,
élites.
the rich man,
Pero en la
the
profundidad,
elites, but
Viendo el
deep
teatro
down,
negro de Barlovento,
seeing
nos damos
the
cuenta que también se genera el teatro
theater Negro de
la música y la
Barlovento, we
cultura
realize that
de la
also we
resistencia.
generate theater, music, and culture of the resistance.
en toda la humanidad.
And all humanity.
Pero nosotros estudiando,
But we studying,
siempre pido excusa, solicito excusa, Ernesto, así que
I always ask for
presento excusa. Ernesto se la pasa con eso.
pretext. I
Presento excusa.
always given pretexts.
Yo no sé si es lo correcto, pero yo le hago caso.
I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but I obey
Queda
what he
excusado,
says. You are excused, Ernesto.
Yo no soy chauvinista,
I'm not a
tampoco
chauvinist
falso nacionalista.
nor a
De
false
hecho, nuestra
nationalist.
formación es internacionalista.
Actually, our formation is
Yo creo
internationalist
en la
and
consigna de
human.
Bolívar, para
I
nosotros la
believe in
patria
the
es América.
consciousness of Bolivar.
siento
For us,
ciudadano
homeland
nuestroamericano.
is America,
Soy igual
and
de
I
Caracas
feel
como soy de
an
Buenos Aires,
American
de
citizen.
México
I come
o de
from
Brasil.
Caracas as I am from
Nuestroamericano.
Mexico,
Decirse
Brazil.
bolivariano es sentirse de la causa
Say
americana.
to say Bolivarian
Digo con
is to
José Martí,
feel
patria es humanidad.
part of the Bolivarian cause,
Pero
and
con
I
esa
say like
conciencia
Jose
humana,
Marti,
universal,
homeland is
internacionalista,
humanity, but with that
latinoamericana y caribeña,
universal Latin American and
tengo que
Caribbean
decir,
consciousness, I have to
no
say,
exagero ni un ápice,
and I don't
ni
exaggerate
un ápice.
a little bit,
Y ustedes saben más que yo de eso.
and you know more about that than me.
Nuestra cultura es extraordinaria,
Our
única,
culture is extraordinary, unique,
no se
and
compara
marvelous,
con nada.
and it has no comparison
Le da tres
with anything,
patadas a lo que algunos pretenden
and
que es
it beats
cultura por
what
allá en la
some
decadencia del norte.
intend to call culture in the
Y ustedes
north
han sido los hacedores
decline,
del
and
rescate
you have been
de nuestra
the
identidad. Todo.
ones who made possible to rescue our identity. All of you. Jesús Sevillano, Pérez Rossi, Pacheco, Noeli, Cristobal,
Lilia,
Lilia, Cecilia, the Guaraguao. All of you have rescued, investigating each rhythm, each lyric, each meaning, and you, in the times of the absent country, forgotten and abandoned, you were resilient with your music and made possible different times that have arrived. We need to do everything needed so that our identity and our culture and our spiritual force is the one that prevails above any difficulty. This is a cultural war, a cultural battle, a battle of values. Yes, it is. Our values are one thing that are expressed through theater, literature, poetry, music, and dance in every manifestation. Even in our look and the way we smile and walk, we're different from them, very different. Antonio Jose, we're very different. And it's a battle that involves high consciousness and a high creative capacity. They have the communication technologies, and communication technologies, they are more advanced than us, but us, with our music, our rhythm, and our values, we are more developed than them. And we need to believe in a powerful way that these years we are celebrating 50 years of the Achilles Nazoa credo. We need to celebrate it. The Achilles Nazoa credo. Imagine all of the children in schools saying this credo and performing in schools the Achilles Nazoa credo and singing it. Can we do it? Because the Achilles Nazoa credo, I think, it encompasses that power that we need to move forward and advance towards a new model of society, a new spiritual situation in our country and in humanity. It's a local battle, a regional battle, a national battle, and a global battle as well. It's a permanent battle of every day. I don't get tired to say it. In the face of the anti-values of the declining and failed modernity, post-modernity, and culture of the North and their anti-values that deny the human condition and the happiness and social equality. In the face of that, the best vaccine for our children and our youth and for ourselves is to practice our culture, to vindicate our identity in each detail. How many things, for example, the 80 years of Rafael Salazar. Here is this beauty he sent us. Here is the encyclopedia that he is writing. So many things that he has sent me. Here we have little horses of City of Bolivar that just won the National Culture Award, and they are inviting me to go there. Look at this beauty. So many things. You know it better than me. Much better. Everything that means and must mean from the superior consciousness of a country, subjected to a war of different forms, and one of the forms and ways it has is the cognitive or psychological war, so that we feel absent without a country, so that we feel that Venezuela, it is not worth it, that we are not worth it, and to try to build as they are trying to build with a lot of income from Miami, a parallel country, using and the way they do everything, since they are a fraud in everything. What a shame. You can create something funny about the shorts of the man in a hotel. So many things can we do and we must do in order to face that what we call cognitive war, cultural war, psychological war. There are two concepts that we learn in life from a young age, since the pro-homeland cultural front was part of the great movement Achilles and Soa, and the cultural fronts. Here we have one of the creators and founders of the cultural front pro-homeland that won today a National Culture Award with Gloria Martin, that heroine of culture, a brilliant Venezuelan songwriter. We are winning that war. But it's a strong battle of every second, every moment. We talk about the decadence of the Western modernity and the decadence of the post-modernity of the Western. Modernity was in decline during the 70s with a strong force, and there were anti-cultural movements in the world, and from those emerged what they call post-modernity theories, ideas to criticize modernity, but then led us to the worst. And with the decadence of those movements of the Western, which was a hegemonic dominating the world, and of their communication media and cultural instruments, everything resulted in anything, so that the only option they have is fascism or neo-fascism. No one should be deceived. Behind the decline and collapse of the Western and their anti-values is starting to emerge as the only alternative, fascism, that has powerful outbreaks in Europe. In the next weeks, the neo-Nazi forces are going to win in Germany. It's a matter of time, so that in France, the currents of the extreme right, fascist currents that ruled along Hitler, return to political power. In Spain, these currents are hegemonic and dominant from parties like Vox and all of the trash anti-values. It's a powerful battle of values. They promote what they believe it's a new fascism, the same or even worse as the one we have known. 500 years ago, when the European empires went to America, it was not called fascism, it was called colonialism, imperial colonialism. But all of this imperialism was even more criminal than fascism and Nazism that was criminal in the 20th century. So Venezuela, Latin America and the Caribbean, and the world need a powerful cultural revolution to vindicate the best of the human values and oppose the anti-values of the Western that is in decadence and of fascism. A cultural revolution that establishes the basis of a new modernity. From Venezuela, we say a new modernity, socialist modernity, and deeply humanist modernity, with multiple colors and diverse, that promotes optimism for humanity, that promotes joy and happiness, as Bolivar would say in Angostura, the highest social happiness, the highest political stability, that promotes equality among human beings, where any kind of exploitation, war, and violence stop and promotes values of human cooperation. I always say that I admire the concept of the President of China, my oldest brother and partner of fight, President Xi Jinping, that since China is the greatest powerhouse that exists on Earth today, they don't have imperialist nor colonialist ambitions. I think that this is the first time in humanity, in several years of civilization, is emerging a great power that wants development of humanity in an equal way. And President Xi Jinping talks about a concept to make of humanity a community of shared destiny, which is the concept of Bolivar when he dreamt about the balance of the world, and in times like this 200 years ago he was preparing what was his dream of uniting the whole America, respecting diversity as we respect each other here. There are two concepts that we learned when we were children, when we were 15, 18 years old. I met Ernesto when I was like 20 years old. Ernesto was around 12 years old. He was the Benjamin of the Villegas Polhap, the cars from the veredas of Coche. I met him there. He was the son of El Negro Villegas. Restless kid. In those times, we talked about transculturation, and we discussed that issue and used all of the mechanisms that reality provided us with. Nobody taught us to be revolutionaries. We learned this in practice, as I have learned from the people to be a president. Perucho, you are right when you said this. I felt identified in your words. The great teacher in these years of life to learn how to be a president is the people, the humble people, with their resilient capacity and their creative capacity, as your grandmother, for example. Transculturation. I'm not making up this. It is a concept of social sciences to understand the processes to which we are subjected, since transculturated people is a dominated people that is breaking the concept of inventing and making mistakes. Transculturated people, it's a people that the only thing it does is to make mistakes, since we all imitate. But there's another concept that I've been talking about, and I think both complement each other, and since you work with thoughts and words and the permanent debate from the capability and sensitivity of artists to create, which is the concept of deculturation. Alfred Nazare, I'm talking to you. If you deculturize and you take our cultural memory from us, our poetry and the consciousness of what we are in 500 years of fight, it's easier to transculturate us, which is change our chip, and as Elon Musk wants to incorporate us a chip that thinks for us. So these processes are always in need of two components, and I learned this, Perucho, since he discovered me before you. Look what I have learned. It's a combination of efforts. As the pulse is resisting the pressure of those who push you to beat him, and you have to resist the anti-values and the cultural decline of the empire of the north, to resist, full of colors, full of strength and energy, and advance in the construction of new things, in the creation of a new cultural, spiritual revolution from the Venezuelan roots, to allow to put the society of Venezuela at the doors of a new modernity, of harmony, deeply human, of a new society. To resist and make progress. Resistance itself generates values and the things we need to move forward, not only in culture but also in politics, in economics, in military, in everything. Every area of life has an art. The art of politics, the art of military, and economic politics is actually an art. And the art of vindicating the values and culture of a country, it's sublime to know that we have found and found again the path of vindicating what is ours. And I tell to the whole Venezuelan people, our fellow mates residing in Venezuela, the immense majority, and those who emigrated by any reason and wish to be among us again, let's vindicate what is ours. And nobody should act against Venezuela. Venezuelans defend their colors, their culture, their identity, their history, their glorious history of 500 years. We are the liberators of America, and nobody is going to take that away from us. So culture allows to create ties, reunite, and motivate, and increase consciousness. But above all, you National Culture Awards, creators of culture of Venezuela, culture allows what is the secret fact we can talk about, to build human values and patriotic values of children. Screens of our phone won't win our battle. Video games and the social network TikTok that intoxicates and kills. Those who use technologies won't win the battle. And since they entertain so much, that battle for the consciousness, that battle for the future, we need to win that battle. We have all the means to do so. We are living beautiful times, miraculous times. I congratulate all of the artists of Venezuela, and I tell you, what is coming is very good and for the better. Long live the culture of Venezuela. Long live the Venezuelan art. Thank you very much. God bless you. Go ahead. Thank you very much.
Since